Hey, it's Keith. What's up? So it's scared but navigating at a high level, part two, because there's lots of stuff coming up. So I am a 56-year-old raw vegan, and I say that now because a lot of people look at me and they're like, "Oh, like what's up with you?" And I was looking at the last video I did in my truck of this scared but operating at a high level of like. I was like, oh, you can kind of tell I'm old, but I'm like, there's a brightness in my eyes of where it's just like, I'm obviously like really got some good stuff going on in my body, and I'm super aware. There's so many layers of stuff. I feel like I'm in a place where not too many people have been. And I feel like I'm in a place where maybe people have been, but they're not necessarily blogging on social media or talking about stuff because there's such a collective consciousness of templated stupidness, of people arguing about macronutrients, of people talking about medical medium, and just there's nobody really talking about some basic stuff. Like when I think about people like working out, like doing what they call quote unquote working out, it's like, why would you do that? Why would you do these repetitive motions and just get your body so stiff and doing like, and I'm talking about doing proper yoga, like Ashtanga yoga, versus going to a gym and lifting weights in these same motions. And there's this collective dysmorphia. It's a video I've been wanting to do for years of talking about the way people think things ought to be. And there's such a big shift going on. So let me take a step back with my conversation right now, because I'm going through some shit right now where it's just like this cleaning out that's happening in the cosmos, these portals opening up, these energy shifts of where it's like, I mean, if you don't know or if you haven't heard me talking, I'm a super, super emotional person, and I'm getting more and more in touch with that myself, of allowing myself to feel what I feel and encouraging myself to feel what I feel, and then being equanimous with it. So some people think that within Buddhism or spiritual thinking that you're equanimous, meaning that you don't feel what you feel. You feel what you feel, and then it's like the reaction to it, that's the equanimity. So so with where I've been, which is, and I spent some time last night going through all my pictures on my phone, because I sort of do a journal thing where I just take pictures of like scenes around my house. Like a lot of times I have tarot cards out or I have books out, and I just like, and I do screen captures of places I've been on the phone and things like that. And I just kind of use it as a journal, because I really feel like journaling is important, of knowing where you've been, of knowing that you've been alive, or at least it is for me. It sparks something, and I'm not so nostalgic about it in the sense, I'm nostalgic, but not in the sense of like craving, which is one of the big sort of things that you're avoiding with meditating, of being in the now. But we are a product of where we've come from. Yeah, that's made us who we are, and there's a way to connect back. And in my case, like since like fall 2017, I've been allowed myself, I've been completely like self-made for the most part all of my life, and I've allowed myself to go into this yoga sangha that I've been in for coming on over a couple years now, and I'm doing Vipassana, which is, both of those are very collectively Sangha established. And you heard me say in my last video, Sangha is bullshit. And it's strong for some people, and maybe not everybody's necessarily on a journey I'm on, although we're all on the same journey. And at some point, once you find yourself, and for me, a big initial thing of me finding myself was in the 80s, when I discovered like early raw food books, like especially Survival in the 21st Century, and in general, just the whole New Age thing. So a lot of where people are now with doing some of this stuff I've kind of already been there, and I'm sort of working out details and going over a lot of stuff like that I've been like. Just this friend of mine, Kristen, gave me this book, Anamkara, which is it's a book of Celtic wisdom, which I'm not going to necessarily tell you that I've been strictly into Eastern stuff, because a big part of me is West Coast California, like New Age thinking, hippie thinking, psychedelic thinking, Terrence McKenna stuff, Ram Dass stuff, which Ram Dass just died yesterday. A lot of that is Eastern, but it's like Eastern West Coast. It's like, whereas like some of these other things that I'm doing now are kind of pure, although my education at Western Yoga College by this guy called Scott is a lot of that stuff, but filtered through him, with him also being a West Coast person. So I'm a product of postmodern times, of a very high evolutionary path. I think the West Coast, I think Southern California, the West Coast, or the more progressive towns on the West Coast I think are the best for human potential, for growth, for people stepping out and being unique, with learning without getting caught in ruts and things like that. So astrologically, did I say that? We're in this like 735 years. This has not happened, the alignments that are going on right now, and I'm really feeling it. I know I'm letting go of karma. I'm sitting here walking around, I'm still working at the Vipassana Center, and I feel these emotional surges like just coming up of just stuff like I've kind of gotten into it with, like, I think all of my friends, I really feel like this is a time of either fixing old relationships or letting them go altogether, just getting away from them. I'm very much in that mode right now, where I'm kind of like friends that are not like Dhamma friends, meaning Vipassana people that are not meditators, that are like looking at the world in this, what I just consider a complete, like something that's peripheral to me, like political crap. Like, for example, I just put something up on Facebook that was like this meme that's like, I was going to put a political thing up, and it was something that I felt, but I'm not really that into politics. I've always had this point of view of like, I pay attention to politics when it's time for me to vote. I've never missed an election. And the real change comes within, and from perfecting yourself, and I see it all around me. And so maybe we're in a time that's a big shift. We are in a time of a big shift. So, but I'm just feeling these emotions coming up, where I've like two new best friends, and I'm just really feeling so like I gave up myself a little bit to like, which was great because they helped me get into like Dhamma practice, but we're just like really, and I feel like it's triggered the release of other stuff, of where I've kind of left myself behind from time to time. But it seems like there's just this energy just like shifting through me, and I'm just like, whoa, man. And so great things are happening that have not happened before. I am liquidarian for several months now, very pure liquidarian, very, gotten down to eating really like bland food. When I say bland, I mean bland for me, like just making these thick soups in the Vitamix, cauliflower, some greens, some apple cider vinegar, and or a bit of lime or lemon, some salt, maybe a bit of ginger, and just eating one simple meal. And sort of identifying, I've always been attracted to breatharian, but realizing that I'm kind of maybe right around the corner with like pushing that boundary a little more, but also realizing that the reason that it's coming along is because of all of the lifestyle stuff, of meditating all the time, as much as I can, of really getting into that place of being quiet. Vipassana style meditation. And it's just the key to everything, where you just start getting better and everything starts coming into place. But at the same time, these things are coming loose, these things that are from past lives, these things that are from current lives, these things that are like triggers of you know, and of like maybe getting a little bit too much into one kind of thinking and realizing, oh, I had it right back then, and I am like that. And of like, you know, people on like getting into these teachings that are like traditional, like I'm reading you know, Buddhist scripture, some of this stuff, and I'm listening to YouTube blogs, and I'm studying the Ramtha book, and of just like making my own path, and of just like not getting stuck in anything. This is the dawn of the new age. So it's interesting that at this time, people talk about the calendar being wrong, about, you know, there's the planets out there, we can chart what's going on with the planets. You know, there's the collective energy. I feel like, well, even if this is wrong or that's wrong, or this time zone, or that type of astrology, there's a collective energy with the collective consciousness of like how everybody feels, and we're all like attached to that. But then we're also attached to all this stardust, and it's just like just trying to sort out your own version of that. I hope this is not too crazy of a video, but I'm just so all over the place. I'm excited, and I'm just like experiencing like ups and downs. Like I kind of started on a bunch of like new things, of doing just a little bit more meditation, of getting back into urine therapy. I did that. I was starting back on that very naturally. I've had, over the years, I've done a lot of it. And looking back at, again, all my pictures, and of like looking at myself and going, knowing that when those periods were, when I was just doing a lot of urine therapy, like literally there was a point in 2016, 2017 where I was drinking like all of my urine all the time. Well, it's hard to do, but not from a point of view of taste or repulsion, but just of like keeping up with it, especially if you're eating solid food also, which I was, and now I'm not. So just because it's weird to drink it when you have like solid food in your stomach. I don't know if it's something I got to get over, or if it's generally, you know. And that's the other thing, is just some things that were different or difficult to me are not. And now some other things, like, again, just these emotions coming up in me, and of being like really way more sensitive, way more hurt, way easier, but being equanimous with it, and just identifying like, I'm a sensitive person. I'm really a sensitive person, and I like being that way. So it's just a little bit of wrapping, like to maybe help you out, to help me out, to look back at myself in this video, in this time of this shift. We're entering a new decade. Everything is shifting. That's what I was trying to talk about. I was talking about the timelines that we observe, of like, even if our timeline's off, we're going from 2019 to 2020. We have Saturn and Pluto lining up in Capricorn. This has always traditionally, historically been aligned with big shifts. We are, so four or five bodies are lining up in Capricorn. Capricorn is about what's real. Capricorn and Saturn are buddies, meaning that they're similar. And they're all about what's real, about the way that day-to-day reality is done. And so we have Jupiter, we have Pluto, we have Saturn. Pluto being about transformation, depth, death, deep depth. And that's that stuff that's in me that's coming out, of like past life stuff, of like so slow moving Pluto. And the south node of the moon, which is old karma, deep karma stuff. So much. And I hope you have to allow yourself to feel all this, and to kind of not be right, you know, instead of like, you know, maybe just sitting there just trying to be all right with that you don't feel right. And then I've had meditations where I'm so angry at a couple of my friends for just like feeling like I'm so betrayed, and I start a meditation and I'm just feeling so, allowing myself to feel angry and agitated and just being like fuck them, and just like trying to like have some breeze, focus on your breath, and just letting that go. And then it's an hour meditation I'm doing, and maybe for 25 minutes I'm feeling like so shitty, so hateful, so like, and then all of a sudden I've breathed into that and I've let that go, and then it turns into like, I literally last week had like one of my best meditations ever that started out as being like a hateful, like fuck everybody, fuck everything, I'm mad at this, I'm mad at that, and then I'm just breathing into it and just letting it go, and you get there. And for God's sake, the whole political thing, it's just a distraction to keep the righteous, to keep the people that are powerful, all of us powerful, to just like keep you looking at the television when you should be being quiet, receiving this cosmic energy and making transformation. I just think to myself, like I said, I put this thing on Facebook. It was like almost like a joke, and all these people like were like liked it, that are just like, you know, I just wanted to put a rebuttal. I was like, I don't even know why I put that up there, but maybe now in hindsight I see that like 50 of you people like that don't ever like my shit like jumped on something political. And it was something I definitely feel. It was like three pictures. It was one that said, people from the left think there's too many racists, people from the right, and it showed a person, and then it shows people from the right think there's too many socialists, and then it says, and all I see is the government selling out to a highest bidder or something like that, which is accurate. It's what I feel, but it's like, I'm not changing any of that except to be a part of a collective group that sees the power of the spirit, the power of meditation, the power of the spiritual growth in the collective consciousness of how everybody just knows they need to do something spiritual, right? So, and I almost wanted to say, like, you people, like everybody that liked that thing, I didn't do it, but it's like what I feel. All you people that put a like on this stupid thing, that never look at my shit or maybe do anything identifying with political crap that's totally designed to distract you. You dumb motherfuckers just need to meditate, man. I think that's it for now. It's a rambling ass fucking video. I'm just going to upload it. I'm not even going to look at it. The last one I did was great. I listened to it after I uploaded it. So it's Keyth. Support me by supporting my music. Links in the drop down. You can find me under my old Live Rockstar thing on Instagram and on Facebook. And message me and let me know how you're feeling during this big major transition. Next year is going to be a big motherfucker, dude. So I'll talk to you later.